world.
There he is, right there, guys. Check it out. Oh, that's sick. Oh, that's dude, that's so cool.
And this is what makes sport fishing so magnificent. What a treat for the anglers on board the Grande. After a day's fishing, they get to see this spectacle of nature. That's Jimmy Lakshaw on board the Outrider in a long, arduous battle with a giant bluefin tuna. Jimmy gave it his all, and finally the fish succumbed to the gaps on board the Outrider. When they lifted the giant on board, it weighed 322.5 pounds. Way to go, Jimmy! It doesn't get any better than that. Congratulations, my friend.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's a little heavier. Oh, shit. Woo. 1. Whoa, whoa. Let me see the rod. Let me see the rod. Let me see the rod. Come in.
Oh, you got your hair in your face?
Yeah. This rod tip right here.
Yeah, I got him, sure. Good job, Michael. Thumb on the spool.
Hey.
Whoa. Woo.
Thanks to a great dad, a great grandpa, and the great crew on the Voyager, these two boys, 8-year-old Ethan and 11-year-old Michael Limon, just had a trip they'll never, ever forget. Hey everybody, Phil Friedman here from Friedman Adventures. We are seeing a lot of boats and yellowfin tuna stops again today, and that is evidence of the El Nino that is headed our way. Lots of yellowfin tuna remain down the Baja coast. They will move in mass as the water warms up. Get ready for an incredible finish to this summer.
Chaos on the Voyager this morning. We're big.
Good job, guys.
Okay, here we go. Get off, right?
One.
Chaos and madness.
Bloody ducks.
Bloody day.
Voyager. Look at that toad, Ethan. Woo! Yes, sir. Ethan, look at me. Yeah, on the Voyager, boys. Woo!
Whoa, wait.
Woo!
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful, sunny Southern California, Surfside, California, to be exact, sandwiched between Seal Beach and Huntington Beach. And I've got to tell you, there is so much going on. Actually, I don't have to tell you. You saw the lead-in. Orcas off the bow of the Grande. What a spectacular sight. And in addition to that, a 300-pound bluefin tuna taking kids, 8-year-olds and 11-year-olds on the Voyager, realizing their sport fishing dreams. And there is so much more going on. You know what time it is, everybody. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning. Oh, there's somebody yelling back there. Okay, no sharks, I guess. Hey, it is great to be with you, and there is so much to cover with you. We got an incredible report for you here this morning. We'll cover from down below the border all the way up into the Channel Islands, where there has been spectacular fishing everywhere, and it just seems like it's only going to get better and better and better. Make sure you hit that like button, share these videos, please. It really helps us a lot. Subscribe to the channel, tick the bell, and you'll be notified when there's new content. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We'll see you there also all day long as we'll continue to keep you updated on all the very latest. Tommy Holland is on some albacore information. He says there's something going on off Point Conception. Several boats there. Seems like they're catching quite a few albacore right now. This is great news. I know it's pretty far up to the north, but our water temperatures outside are still looking really good. The Royal Polaris is on Cortez Bank catching yellowtail, but that would be an area where you might see an albacore. And man, I'll tell you, hopefully they're going to drag some feathers around, maybe move a little bit outside Cortez. There is a possibility for some albacore. I'm not dreaming. I'm telling you, this is going on. Tommy Holland with the info. Tommy, thanks for that. We really appreciate that very, very much. Don't forget, we have a day-and-a-half trip coming up on board the Horizon. And our good friend Christopher Price was just on the Horizon, just got back in, said the boat was great, it's roomy, it's comfortable, the food was great, and he had a really great time. If you'd like to join us on our August the 15th 1.5-day trip, you send Bill Wilkerson a text, tell him you want on that trip, tell him you got to be on that trip. I'll be there shooting a video of you catching a big fish. So that number is 619-985-51 879. Get on the horizon. And one more trip that I want to tell you about, and that's a 2.5-day trip on the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California, with my dear friend Ernie. It's going to be a great trip. First of all, Ernie is such a great guy, and if you want to experience that kind of special charter, that intimate kind of fishing on a great sport fishing boat in a great year, then send Ernie a text and he'll get you signed up for this great trip. 714-401-8773. All right, my friends, there is so much going on, as I indicated to you. Those lead-ins today, man, I watch that and I'm just like, I got to go fishing, man. Whether it's just seeing the orcas off the bow of the Grande, or catching a barracuda locally, or getting a big bluefin tuna. You saw the Pegasus in on some incredible nighttime fishing. It is all really, really good. South of the border, Ensenada, let's talk down there. They're catching both yellowfin. They're getting a few more Dorado as the El Nino is starting to have its effect here on us in Southern California and Northern Baja California. There's bluefin tuna down there on the Mad Max. They can always fall back on some excellent rockfish, and I am talking about the Pongueros down there. And in addition to that, there's some barracuda. There's also some yellowtail around Todos Santos Island. University Point has some gar on it, barracuda. And then you look at Punta Banda, and that pristine, rocky, rugged Baja coast is producing some really good calico bass fishing and some big bonita in there. There's a lot of great fishing south of the border, and if you love Mexico as I do, the culture and the people and the food, you're gonna love a trip down into that neck of the woods. All right, my friend, Jimmy Latchka, what a fish yesterday on the Outrider, 322.5 pound bluefin tuna. Jimmy, great job to the Outrider crew for putting such a magnificent fish on. Recently, Brian Wilson, who's a huge member of the Friedman Adventures family, was on board the producer, and I got to tell you, he tore it up, man. He had such a great trip. He went 4 for 4 with 2 bluefin and 2 yellowfin tuna. There were 29 guys on the boat who had 27 mixed fish. So you could see what kind of a trip Brian had. He said 30-pound fluorocarbon really did it made it happen for him. He was changing his bait regularly, picking the really good hot baits, and in between moves, he was dragging albacore feathers back behind the boat. Brian, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate you indulging me in my delusion. So thank you so much, and great job. My brother Paul and I, when we used to go fishing years ago, we would look at the count. Let's say it's 1 barracuda per rod, and we would say, if we don't have 3 fish, we are screwing up. So Brian is certainly in that category. What a great trip for him, and you have got to love it. And you got to love Michael Limon, 11 years old, and also Ethan Parcell on board the Voyager with some great fishing yesterday. They were fishing the bluefin and yellowfin. It wasn't that great. It was okay, but they ended up going into the Coronado Islands where they had even more yellowtail and more fun. And the 2 boys, that was a trip they'll never forget. 17 bluefin tuna, a bunch of barracuda all over the iron at the Coronado Islands. Good calico bass fishing, along with 18 yellowtail. Now, Isaac Parcell, that is Ethan's dad, was out the day before when they had wide open fishing on the bluefin and yellowfin tuna. However, he made the point, you know, in that slow day yesterday when they were offshore, they had 5 of those fish. I mean, he's all over it. He's one of those guys that had a lot of fish. So 17 bluefin on the boat. He had 5 along with his son. So how did he do it? And he shared that info with us. He said, you've got to drop down to the light line. And he went down to 20-pound fluorocarbon. We love Option USA, www.optionusa.com. Put in FA at checkout for a free gift, and a number 4 circle hook, he said, really made all the difference in the world. So some really great fishing going on down there, and hopefully it's going to continue. Now that 4 was a Gamakatsu Nautilus ringed hook, and he said it really did make all the difference dropping down. And also, very, very important, belly hooking your bait. Belly hooking your bait seemed to make a big difference. Incidentally, at the end of today's report, I'm going to run a bunch of previous shorts that maybe you have never seen, including a little short on Desiree Rodriguez and so much more. So stay tuned for all of that at the end of today's report. Excellent fishing on the San Diego 34 guys, 68 yellowfin tuna, 30 to 50 pound fluoro was working really good. They had a really intense bite, so that's when you can fish the heavier line. If, however, you're on a boat that doesn't catch all that many and it's really finicky, then do what Isaac Parcell said. Sea Watch yesterday, 24 guys, 28 yellowfin, 3 bluefin. Liberty, 38 guys, 80 yellowfin tuna. Pacific Queen, limits of bluefin, 23 yellowfin for 23 guys. I don't know how it can get any better than that. Now, not everybody's getting them, and there are misses. It's the nature of the beast, okay? Especially bluefin tuna. When that yellowfin gets in here in force, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. You're going to see more consistent fishing. What we need to happen is this water to warm up a little bit more. We're already getting yellowfin tuna in some what I would consider water a little cool for yellowfin tuna. I would say 67 and above, and up around 70-degree water. That's when this will all start to click. We see a little bit of 70-degree water. We see a lot of 66-degree water. It's just coming together. It's going to be one heck of a finish to this year. I guarantee you that it's going to get downright crazy. So, man, I'll tell you, some really good fishing down there. Now you know what to do. At night, you're fishing the 100 to 130 pound, 300-gram jigs. Pegasus with a huge night last night, as we told you. Other guys missed. So, again, some guys are getting them and some guys are not. And one thing that I see when I watch video of guys catching fish is it looks like a lake out there right now. It is gorgeous, and the fish are biting. So have that heavy stuff, 300-gram jigs at night. Also a rod with 50, 60 pound on it with a small, shiny jig, you know, like a Daiwa Sakana. That works really, really well. I want to say 80 to 120 grams, 100, 120 grams. That works well. Sometimes when you roll up on a foamer, they will bite that really well. Be prepared also maybe to go into the Coronado Islands where there is some awfully good fishing going on right now. Phil Miller, another Friedman Adventures family member, just got back in from a 2.5-day trip on board the Thunderbird. Cortez Bank Yellowtail have been off the hook where the Royal Polaris is catching fish here right now as we speak. Phil is a great guy and had a great time. They ended up with 111 yellowtail on board the Thunderbird, 15 to 30 pound grade fish, beautiful grade 4 bluefin. One of them went 150 pounds, and copious amounts, Phil said. Well, actually he didn't say it, but copious amounts of colorful, wonderful eating rockfish. Phil said it was really a fantastic trip, and it really sounds like it was. Once again, San Diego really biting well. Tons of bluefin down there. More yellowfin starting to push in there with this warm water. And as that water warms, you'll see that YFT up here in the LA Orange County area, and perhaps above that, because this is a very strong El Nino bearing down on us here. And we're seeing it already way down the Baja coast. It's starting to stretch up this way. Now you're saying to yourself, what are you talking about albacore previously for? Because there is cooler water outside. And we have had seasons where you are in San Diego and you say, do you want to go down the beach and catch Dorado, yellowfin, tropical stuff, or do you want to go out and catch albacore? And this could be that kind of a year, but I know it's getting late. I haven't given up hope yet. I still think there's a chance, especially with the information from Captain Tommy Holland today. That sounds very good to me. All right, San Clemente Island, some good yellowtail action out there. You got to deal with the sea lions at times. There's also some calico bass and that kind of stuff going on there. Some barracuda bonita at Catalina Island. We continue to catch some barracuda bonita, calico bass, whitefish, occasional halibut, occasional sea bass. When you're catching yellows at Cat, it seems like the lighter line, sometimes even 15-pound fluorocarbon, a good hot bait, changing the bait regularly. You know the thing here if you've been watching the morning briefing now for any amount of time. That works really, really well. And then also we continue to see some activity up there in the Channel Islands, along the coast up there. There is really good barracuda fishing. The Island Spirits had good barracuda. Some days it doesn't bite. And then you have the bonita and the calico bass. They've really had some great fishing up there in that neck of the woods. They're seeing bluefin up there also, and it's not very far for them as there's bluefin around Santa Barbara Island. So, man, it is really coming together and looking like it's going to be one heck of a fantastic year. Up and down the coast, down in San Diego, seeing really good calico bass fishing. Same thing in Oceanside, Dana Wharf, There's some really good calico bass fishing. Sometimes it's more shorts than keepers, light line, good hot bait. All of that works really well when you're fishing the calico bass. We're also seeing kid barracuda fishing here on the Horseshoe Kelp and areas like that. That's off Long Beach and San Pedro area. Pedro, I said for you. That has been a surface iron bite. You can catch them on bait all day long, but it's way more efficient and way more fun to throw a lighter jig like a Tatty C. I don't think the color is relevant. I like a single hook. Some guys say, hey, they don't stick on the single. I like to get a treble in them. Have at it. I like the easy release or the easy in my gunny sack. So a single hook, you just turn it upside down and you are done with it. And that's a great way to get it done. Spitfire, limits of calico bass up there out of Marina Del Rey sport fishing. Wonderful trip for them. And they saw the barracuda making an appearance. So that is also really, really good signal and sign. Man, I'll tell you, things are definitely starting to head in the right direction. Pacific and Tribute also had great trips down there in San Diego. It sounds like yesterday several other boats also had really wonderful trips. Some guys missed, however. And also another grunion run here on these beaches in northern Baja and Southern California. Tonight is a great night to go. And remember, whatever the first time period is, Google grunion run, and then it's going to say tonight from, for example, 10 to midnight, show up at 11 p.m. with the kids. If you show up at 10 and it's cold and it's a little windy and you got to wait an hour and a half for the things to show up, they're over it. They're like, let's get out of here. These things are not showing up. You show up at 11 or an hour after the first hour they mentioned, and normally you'll start to see them in about 20 minutes if they show. Sometimes the little devils have their mind on something else. Well, what can I tell you? Orcas and 300-pound bluefin tuna, yellowfin flushing up to this area. We've got great barracuda action going on. It's really a great time to be an angler in Southern California and Northern Baja. And it's great to be with all of you. Don't forget, there's some shorts coming up. Don't forget, sign up for that Horizon trip. And don't forget, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the increasing statistics. Really zooming out there. We've just surpassed 3 million views. Well over 250,000 hours consumed by all of you. I thank you so much for that. And it is even going stronger than I ever imagined possible. And you know what? I owe that all to you. Clothing will be given out. We've sent a bunch of clothing. When I say we, I mean the Friedman Adventure family. You guys are the ones who donated clothing, medical supplies, so much more. And a lot of that is in Cedros Island right now, a venue that is great for all of us Americans who've had the really great opportunity to fish there. And this is our little way of saying thank you to the people of Cedros Island. And we'll be giving out more medical supplies in Tecate and Tijuana and other places in the very near future. That's all coming together thanks to the deckhand on board the Royal Star, Diego Nuno, and his family. They are working so hard. And thanks to every one of you who either made a donation or brought clothing down, or Phil Capricio, who did so much. I owe that all to you. I'm just Santa Claus. You do all the hard work there. All right, hope to see you all really, really soon. Have a great day, and thanks again for being here. Danny Cadota and I went to Torrance, California to the Sushi Chef Institute to try these fish chips out.
A fish chip.
Really?
It is. That's what he said. I go, wow.
You are going to have to try these. So
This
good.
is not a translator. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you.
I'm Desiree.
Oh my God. Holy shit. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Phil, how the hell did you do
A really
this?
fun and productive method to take yellowfin croaker in the Southern California coast is by throwing a small lure. It really works well, and it's lots of fun.
Deception jig, man, and that thing hit the bottom, twitched it once, and it was on. Oh, look at that, man!
The big calico bass come out to play around Puna Banda, Baja California, Norte near Ensenada, fishing with Diego Nuno and Costa Baja Sport Fishing.
First cast coming up. Dad Leland's back. He ain't screwing around anymore.
Freaking nice part, Purge.
Ah, life's good. Woo!
Good job, man.
Oh, Phil, I'm so glad you talked me into this.
Woo! What a way to start the morning.
Check out this unusual creature that washed up in front of Louis Prieto's house in Ensenada, Baja California Norte. Dr. Gwen Goodman-Lowe from California State University at Long Beach says it's either a dwarf or pygmy sperm whale. Hard to tell from the angle. Extremely rare for these waters and rarely seen at sea. Most of what knowledge we have about these creatures comes from specimens that have washed ashore.